So we're on Long Lake today. It's the 1st of October, and we're here to talk with Scott Cheney about this stuff in the water. It's blue-green algae, and he began to notice that not last month, which was September, but in August. Is that right, Scott? Pick it up from there?
Correct. About halfway through August, we usually see the light green mist start to appear. And I wasn't really concerned because, I mean, for heaven's sakes, they sell blue-green algae, health food supplements. And so I let my kids swim in it. But when it started clumping up, I began to wonder, what are we actually dealing with here?
You got the test done. You had to do the test yourself. What did the test results show, and what were you thinking then?
Well, Rick knows what I was thinking because I've interacted with him several times before, and I told him if this comes back toxic, hell hath no fury. So that probably was my reaction. And especially when I saw the levels, I didn't know what to make of it. I mean, they were so incredibly high. I almost thought they had to be wrong. And so I immediately, within the hour, sent out an email to the spokesman and all the TV stations in town and letting them know, one, that there was this bill out here because toxic algae bloom out here, because apparently health department and ecology were unaware of it and weren't telling anybody. So I felt I needed to do that and get people out of the lake as soon as possible, especially at the levels we were talking about. And sat back and waited.
And it wasn't until after you had contacted the media that ecology actually, you heard any sort of reaction from them?
My first reaction, after getting mad, is I got online and found out who to contact at ecology that was the specialist on this sort of thing, and she was very good. She spent about half an hour with me, and I bounced all sorts of questions off of her, and I said, well, I'm going to the press with this, and I'm going to give them your name and number. Do you have a problem with that? And she didn't have a problem at all, so that worked out really well. I'm sorry, I forgot your question.
No, you answered it. Yeah.
Well, so what should people take away from this for not just the rest of this year? I mean, swimming season, boating season is drawing to a close, but for next year, what should people know, and what do you think the agency should know and do? So if this crops up again, people are better protected than they were this year.
Well, the obvious answer is we need to be doing monitoring on a regular basis to see if it's toxic. There are bigger issues, though. Talking around and getting into this, I find out it doesn't seem like we know how much is too bad or why a normal blue-green algae bloom turns toxic. These are questions that need to be answered, too. And as people, and I mean people as the people that the government works for, we need to do two things, I think. We need to first do whatever we can to reduce the occurrence of algae, and I think that's being done by the work you guys are doing with TMDL. But we also have to make sure that we're monitoring and that whatever we do is having the effect it's supposed to have. But in the meantime, we have to be monitoring on a regular basis to see if this is toxic. My fear, because this seems to be so often the case, is that it's going to require a tragedy before somebody pays attention.